I want people to see that I'm the face of survival.
Yes.
I am thriving in survival, and that's why I agreed to something like this, because hopefully people will see that when they get a diagnosis, or, I'll leave a card in a mailbox and say, if you ever want to talk, and say, I survived, and so can you, because I had no one to. I did join a support group, but they all were going through the same thing. Nobody in my family, I didn't know anybody who'd had breast cancer, so I kept thinking, this is it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she made it better. Because then I felt like nobody has to know. Nobody really has to know. I mean, close friends knew, but walking into a grocery store, I always thought somebody's going to look at me and say, oh, that poor woman has cancer. I didn't want that. I don't know why I was like that, but I was. And so putting on the wig and looking better again, thanks to Diane, I just felt normal again, somewhat.
So it's been about 27 years. I had a client at that time that knew me really well, and I knew her very well for years before that. And she confided in me that she had breast cancer. So I decided to call the American Cancer Society and ask what I could do for my girl. And they said, well, you become a wig fitter. What that entailed was that they would certify me on how to fit somebody for a wig. At the time, they had a little room over at the Cancer Society. It was just an odd place to go. It wasn't very warm and comforting, but that's what we had. They actually supplied wigs that were donated or discontinued styles. They didn't fit every single person, and they weren't the greatest style and matching every single person's style, and I didn't feel good about that. So I just started buying wigs on my own that would suit that person better. And after so many years, the American Cancer Society stopped the wig program, and I couldn't stop giving out wigs. So I created the Wig Boutique.
Every cancer is different, every chemotherapy, and I'm not an oncology nurse, so I just know we have patients that come in and they'll never lose their hair, and then we have others that will absolutely lose their hair, all their hair, eyebrows, everything. And it all depends on what type of chemo they're receiving. They're all very different. So it's not a given that you're going to lose your hair, and but it's more common than not.
So I got a diagnosis of breast cancer on 9/11/2001, actually. And then, of course, after you deal with that diagnosis and realize what's coming, one of the things you think about, of course, is hair, because they said, I'm going to be going through chemo. With Diane, I said, I need somebody to shave my head eventually, pretty soon, because it only takes 2 treatments and you're pretty much losing all your hair. So, and then I said, but I don't want to see myself.
So walking her through the whole process and being the person to support her, her family wasn't here in the area, and she shared it with her hairdresser. She shared it with me. So I took it really serious that we're gonna get through this. And she said, even shaving her hair, like when it was gonna be time to shave her hair, it was really a difficult thing, because she wanted and needed to go to work. She had a daughter, or has a daughter who's much older now, but back then her daughter was 11, and she says, I can't lose my job. I can't look like I'm sick. And so we went to a private room, and it was definitely one of the most emotional things I've done as a hairdresser, was to shave someone's head for the first time, and how scared she was having that diagnosis, knowing she's going to be fighting. It's just the myriad of emotions, and I can only imagine.
I actually spoke to a woman, absolutely not related to my practice. I just met her literally in a store about 2 days ago. She was a cancer survivor, and she said the same. She saw my badge that I was with palliative, and she had said, and she just brought it up, and she goes, the worst thing I went through was when I lost my hair, and now it's, she's a survivor, the hair's grown back. But that was one of the hardest things that she had to accept, that she was going to lose her hair. of all the things that she had to deal with. She goes, it was just crazy. She goes, why I obsessed about that.
So I opened a salon in 2006. So currently I have a team of 4. That's 3 other stylists and myself. When this space opened next to the salon, adjacent to the studio that I have now, I was able to take it over and create the Wig Boutique so that I have its own personal safe space for someone to come in and they're displayed, and I can carry a bigger stock of wigs. And even though that I have a stock of wigs, they may not be for everyone. So during the wig fitting process, if I don't have the right one that you feel most comfortable in, then we just order it. We order the right one for you.
I don't even know they have a wig on. I'm just like, well, your hair's really looking nice. And they'll tell me, oh, it's a wig. And I'm like, wow, great wig. It's like, awesome wig, because like, didn't know it.
Out of the team of 4, we all are, it's in our heart to navigate the process of making an appointment, doing the phone consultation, and really making you feel like, okay, you don't have to worry anymore, we got you, and we'll book you in. But one of the other stylists actually have gone a little bit further and actually doing the wig appointments also with the fittings and taking on that in her, in her expertise too. At the last minute, you could feel awful. You have a good day, and then all of a sudden something comes up and you just feel awful. So last minute cancels, or you just don't want to make the drive. I've had the opportunity to meet people that come an hour, 2 hours away. During COVID, I shipped wigs to Ohio and to Maryland, upstate Pennsylvania. I've shipped wigs to Florida because somehow they found me on the internet, and I would do a Zoom virtual appointment and ship the wigs to them. And then once they get them, I would help them. I would virtually put them on properly, and then even if they needed to trim around the face or something like that too. So I can do that. Even if you're down the street and you don't feel like coming out and you want to start that process with just a virtual, that you feel more comfortable doing that, I just make it, it's just in my heart to do that.
Anything to make the journey, to make what they have to go through a little more palatable, a little bit more tolerable, and know that at the end of this, I'm going to come through this.
Everybody deserves to take a break of cancer treatments or any type of treatments, because it's not always about just cancer, because they use those medicines in other treatments for other ailments or other illnesses also. So they still, your hair still sheds. And it doesn't matter how much money you have or what type of car you drive and how big your house is. It doesn't really matter if you have none or a lot of money, but you're still going through that battle and you're still going through those emotions. So to me, it doesn't matter what your status is that way, that I welcome everybody in the studio to, get a wig and hopefully feel better and feel like you're cancer-free.
And when she walks into our office for her visits, I never know what she's going to look like because she has several wigs. So I just wait for her to come in, and I open my window. I'm like, love it. That's different. And so it could be straight hair. She could have curly hair. It could be blonde hair. It could be long hair. And then I said, well, and then in the summertime, she may come in with her wig and not have anything on because she's a pretty woman. But she is going through a lot, and she is in pain, and but when she comes in, she is beautiful. And I can't help but compliment her on that. And I said, I love when you come in because I never know what you're going to look like.
So it's part of our culture here at Thanx Hair Artistry, is that we really strive really hard and work hard together because we want to create the culture of caring, a warm, friendly atmosphere, to go above and beyond what you actually would expect from a hairdresser. There's only like 7 legal licenses to physically touch somebody, and I feel out of all those licenses, we're the least invasive, but still, when you touch someone, it releases that endorphin that creates a bond with somebody, and I don't take that lightly. I take that as a responsibility and a privilege. I really think it's like just a purpose why God put me here, like to utilize my talents, and gave me a purpose, because just doing hair behind the chair is rewarding, but sometimes I just really felt like there's got to be more. There just has to be more for me to do. But when you see the looks on people's faces, how scared they are when they come in, to the looks in their eyes when they have the right hair on them, I know I've done the right thing. I know it's where we want to be. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Every so often I reflect, and last year we gave away, I think, something like 64, 65 wigs. So that's 1 point something a week. It's pretty amazing, the feeling I get. And I really believe it is a God's gift to be able to give. And it's just amazing to have that opportunity to do it regularly. It's one of the reasons that I know that there was a purpose, and the deeper I got into my faith and how can I give back and what am I here for? What are any of us here for? It's to connect and support each other. And I really believe in my heart that's what God put me here for. And I think about it.